Hi everyone, you're watching The Film Whisperers on Bent TV, a show where two movie nerds look at all things film through a contemporary lens. My name is Matthew.
And I'm Saj.
So, Saj, we previously were talking about movies that are based on real stories or biopics, they can be as well. And we looked at the ones that we really enjoyed. So, we mentioned movies like Hustlers and The Farewell. But, with every good, based on a true story movie, there are inevitably some bad ones. So, let's have a look, or let's have a talk of now about the ones that we don't like. I should preface this by saying that, like, pretty much any lifetime biopic ever will fall into this category. But let's start with you, Sarge. What's a really bad film that's based on a true story, in your opinion?
I just want to also say that in our discussion with this, the people that we talk about, if they're female, it's not about the women who have worked hard to give a good performance, but it just happens to be that either the directing has been terrible, the scripting has been terrible, and the people in concern have not been given any good collateral to work with. But speaking of Lifetime, I think you should go first because I think you
Okay.
have a Lifetime movie, don't you?
For several months now, as a result of being in all these lockdowns, I've really gotten into the Lifetime Movie Network, which we have on TV. And honestly, you could turn on the channel at any time of the day, and there'll be some really crappy biopic or a really crappy made-for-TV movie that's based on a true story. And I think the one that to me is just the worst. Also because like the person this is based on deserves a lot better. Is the Britney Spears biopic? So it's called Britney Ever After, and I think it came out, maybe in like the early 2010s or mid 2010s, and it's very much unauthorized. Like Britney's team had no part in it whatsoever, and it basically charts like her career from starting out and like also getting into a relationship with Justin Timberlake to then kind of having this meltdown where she shaved off her hair and had a bit of a meltdown. Um, it's just an awful movie. Like, I'm not sure if you've seen it, Saj, but like the acting obviously is really terrible, but the writing is worse. And what's so bad about it is like oftentimes when you watch biopics, like well-made ones, um, they have the funds and the money to license the right kind of music. So like if you watch a Queen biopic, you hear the Queen songs in the movie, or if you watch a Tony Braxton biopic, you hear the Tony Braxton songs in the movie. But because there's this production was clearly very low budget and they didn't have the funds, they create like fake Britney songs. So like when you're watching the movie and Britney's performing, she's performing these really crappy like club songs that are just made up for the movie that are not Britney songs whatsoever. And it's just so cringe. And sorry, I should also shout out one of the best slash worst scenes of the movie. So they delve quite a bit into like her relationship with Justin Timberlake. And there's a scene where it shows them breaking up in the movie, and the way they break up is through like a dance battle. So they're at a club together, and then they're both like standing and facing each other, like looking all like angry and sincere and serious. And then they start just doing this like dance battle with each other, and then by the end of the dance battle, they're broken up, and then that's it, and they move on to the next storyline in the movie. But yeah, if that gives you a bit of a hint or idea of what the movie's like, then yeah, it's awful. But yeah, that's
Okay,
my one.
okay. So Lifetime. Look, I have seen a fair share of Lifetime movies. There have been a lot of, the unauthorized story of Melrose Place, the unauthorized story of Beverly Hills. Quite a few of those TV shows have come up with, I guess, stories, so to speak. And I've seen the Aaliyah one, the Whitney Houston one. I've not seen the Britney one. Anyway, what is it with Lifetime taking on female celebrities and then making a trash movie out of it? I don't understand it. Is it some sort of this sexist undertone to over dramatize the traumatic events of
Hmm.
female celebrities and make it really camp and um, just a poor attempt at telling someone's story. And it's mainly women. I can't think of a male celebrity would get the lifetime treatment.
There are a few that they've done, but you're right. Overwhelmingly, it's women, and I think there's two reasons. I think one is, just in general, Lifetime movies are super melodramatic and over the top. So whatever story they're looking at, they over dramatize it and make it look so like, yeah, bad. But also in terms of like them mostly looking like women celebrities, I think it's also just because I think probably the most people that watch the television show, the station, women and probably gay men. Like, I don't think many straight men are tuning into the Lifetime network, so they're probably like, well, there's not much of a market here for like a Jimmy Barnes biopic or like a Bruce Springsteen biopic. So that's why they often probably go to like the pop, soul, R&B divas. But yeah, because of that, and also because they just do all these really melodramatic movies in general, the combination of the two means that it does these like stars a disservice, because it means that like it makes them look like caricatures of who they actually are. But anyway, enough about my one. Saj, what about you? What's your really bad pick for movies that are based on real stories or real life events?
I guess mine is also based on a very a famous LGBT icon, Joan Crawford, and the film is called Mommie, Dearest. Have you seen this?
I definitely have. I feel like it's one of those like iconic movies for probably the wrong reasons. But yeah, you can explain.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I just I cannot believe. So this is my understanding of the story of how it all happened. They really expected to do well because Faye Dunaway apparently had just won an Oscar before that. So they cast her in this film with Joan Crawford. It's based off a book that was written by the real Joan Crawford's daughter. And when it came out, people were quite taken back by what they saw, and Faye Dunaway's performance was just over the top and camp. And it has now become this cult classic. And apparently, at the time, they even had to sort of rebrand it as a bit of a dark comedy. I remember, watching it a couple of years ago, and your partner was in this group as well. Matt Mushin was there too, and some of us were quite flabbergasted as to why people thought it was funny, because it was a movie about child abuse, and the whole over the top take on the Joan Crawford character. It was just really poorly done. I've since seen Feud. Bet versus Joan. Have you seen that one? The one where we have Susan Sarandon and Jessica Lange.
That
Jessica Lange
was
plays.
that Feud? I watched a few episodes, but I didn't watch the whole
Yes.
thing.
So I'm guessing that's probably the real Joan Crawford, or rather the more realistic portrayal of Joan Crawford. But yeah, this one it was not done tastefully, and the performances were pretty bad, and you just the outcome of this has been people making fun of some scenes in there where she beats the crap out of her daughter. And to me, I don't find that funny. I don't find that camp. I just think it's not cool. It's a bit disturbing.
I was gonna say, to me, that's the fault of the filmmakers, because like you're right, like it's actually a really serious story. Like that child abuse stuff is super serious, but it was written in such a crap way that like it makes it look comical. So like, yeah, you're right. People see it now as like this like campy kind of like cults movie, but it was actually intended to be about really serious things. And it's a shame because the story wasn't given the right kind of treatment. It was given this kind of over the top, melodramatic, almost Lifetime style, cheesy things. So yeah, it's a shame because you're right. It's actually quite serious.
She did manage to get a couple of Razzies for it, and I think it's considered to be one of the worst movies ever made. So, a lot of people agreed with our point of view with this film. But anyway, that's all the time that we have for the Film Whisperers today. You're watching the Film Whisperers on TV.